And it looks like we are live. Wait, let me restore chat right here. All right. All right, what's up, everybody? So today's Friday, and I'm going to try to have my next video out about this time next week. The good thing is it's Labor Day weekend, so I have a little bit more time to work. But today, I just watched the film I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and I'm not going to spoil it here. I just want to sort of give my initial thoughts. I can't enter VC. Okay, go into General, and I'll move you. Yeah, so I just kind of want to give my initial thoughts. I read the book. I read the book a while back. By a while back, I mean last month when I first heard about it. And the movie is very different than the book in some respects, but in other respects, it's exactly like the book. It really starts to deviate from the book in the second half. The first half is very, very much like the book, and I was a little bit worried it was going to be too much like the book because I like it when movies are at least a little bit different. You know, I like it when I get a different experience reading a book than I do watching the film. So I'm glad. And now a lot of the stuff is still the same. It's sort of like Kaufman had a different way of sort of coming to some of the same conclusions that the author, I think his name is Ian Reed, did. But, oh, hey, TJ, what's up? But at the same time, I actually preferred Kaufman's execution better than the author. I thought that Kaufman had a more melancholy. Yeah, Joseph, I'm talking about that right now. Yeah, I think that Kaufman had a more melancholy tone because the book I'm Thinking of Ending Things kind of turns into like a horror movie, whereas Kaufman does his Kaufman thing and makes it like this dreamscape sort of surrealist intellectual film. And there's a whole conversation in it. This isn't really a spoiler, but there's a whole conversation in it about a movie called A Woman Under the Influence, which is A Woman Under the Influence is a movie by John Cassavetes. It released in the 70s, and it stars Gina Rowlands and Peter Falk. And I absolutely love A Woman Under the Influence. I'm a huge fan of Cassavetes, just in general. Like, I think I brought up in the stream last week that I had recently watched Mikey and Nicky. Now, Mikey and Nicky wasn't directed by Cassavetes, but Cassavetes and Peter Falk starred in it. So I'm a big fan of Cassavetes, and so it was kind of nice having like this conversation about A Woman Under the Influence. So maybe if you want to watch I'm Thinking of Ending Things, watch A Woman Under the Influence first, or maybe watch it after. I think it does play into the themes. I'm not going to go too in depth because I'm going to write my video on this tomorrow and hopefully record it and shoot it Sunday and Monday to have it out to you guys by Friday. That is granted that I am not just completely overwhelmed. I'm currently editing a documentary for The Gamer from Mars as well. So I am trying to balance both of those things. So Anne Frankenberry says, I ended my Netflix subscription a while back for Hulu. Wish I can see it someday. I like Kaufman. Yeah, you know, I like Kaufman too. I liked Synecdoche, New York, but I didn't care for Anomalisa. Anomalisa just, I don't know. It didn't really mesh with me. I got what it was doing. I thought that it was a neat way of sort of saying something. And, you know, in a lot of ways, I'm Thinking of Ending Things is similar to Anomalisa in its themes. And, you know, it is really at its heart a movie about loneliness. So let me check my Discord really fast. Gaspar Noé. Hey, I'll bring you on in a second. But yeah, they're both about loneliness. I think that's a big Kaufman sort of theme. You know, you also see that theme in Adaptation. You see that in Being John Malkovich and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And so I think that it does it a lot better than Anomalisa. I know that the whole thing in Anomalisa was that everyone was pretty much like voiced by the same voice actor, except um, except the girl that he was in love with and the main character. But here's a spoiler for Anomalisa. Honestly, I just thought it was kind of boring. The spoiler is that the more he gets to know her, the more she's overtaken by that voice actor that voices like everybody else. So it's just sort of like depression or whatever. And it is strange hearing all of these characters, but like they all have the same voice, like even little kids. I mean, it was definitely strange. I'm not gonna lie about that. And that is the Kaufman charm in Anomalisa. But at the same time, I wasn't a huge fan of the puppet sex. It was a little off-putting, I guess, because they try to make it look as realistic as possible. It's, it's like the opposite of Team America World Police, where they just sort of were going crazy with it and making it like, almost just like two kids with their dolls just sort of bashing it together and doing stupid things, whereas in Anomalisa, they were really trying to make it realistic, and it kind of was off-putting for me a bit. But yeah, I'm thinking of Ending Things. I think is a step above Anomalisa. I think that it's a better movie. It is slow paced, so I know that the trailer sort of shows it like, the trailer indicates that it has a faster pace than it actually does. I want to say that. Now the book, I think it's something like the first 70 pages. I think the first 70 pages are just in the car ride to the parents' house. Now, it's not that long in the movie. They do kind of cut that out, and they sort of like take some of the conversations in that car and put it in the parents' house. That kind of stuff. I think it's the first 20 minutes of I'm Thinking of Ending Things are just the two of them sitting in their car talking to each other for like the first 20 minutes. So expect a lot of that. Expect a lot of people sitting and talking. And as they sit and talk, things just sort of get weirder and weirder. Yeah, and I mean, I really liked it. I knew what I was getting into, so nothing was too shocking for me. But yeah, it's interesting, and I was able to sort of think about maybe what everything meant before I saw the movie because I read the book. That's how you stay ahead of the game in this business. So yeah, so what I'll do is you guys, hey, anyone who's in my Discord, get into the general voice chat, and I'll move you into KinoCast main here in a second. So Alan says, what is your Kaufman screenplay? I don't quite know what you mean by that. What is your Kaufman screenplay? I don't know if I understand the question. Here, I'll move the Estonian into here. Hello. Oh, what is your favorite Kaufman screenplay? I'd have to say Adaptation. I really like Adaptation as a screenplay. I think Adaptation because, well, for a few reasons. For a few reasons that are related to the actual screenplay and that aren't. The obvious reason, I guess, is that it was credited to Charlie Kaufman and Donald Kaufman. So both were nominated for an Academy Award, but Donald Kaufman is a character in the script but doesn't actually exist. So it's like the one time in Academy history when a non-existent person was nominated for an Academy Award. So I think that that was just hilarious. That was allowed to happen. And Adaptation, just as a film, I just think it's so tight. Like for the kind of film, for that kind of surrealist comedy film, it is. It's so tightly written. You can't help but love it. Why did you go as Isaac Mahaffey? Oh, yeah, I went as Isaac. Like, Peter and Isaac are my real names, but I just go by Isaac professionally instead of Peter because I guess, because there's a lot of directors named Peter, but not a lot of directors named Isaac. Pretty much that's the reason. Have you seen the low-budget film Deadbeat at Dawn? Jim Van Bebber directed, wrote, acted, and did his own stunts. No, I haven't. I haven't seen that. Jim Van Bebber. I'll look him up. Joseph says, I've always heard that Darren Aronofsky is too out there or too artsy, but I'd like to hear your opinion, Kino. You know, Aronofsky, I like some of his stuff. I don't like others. I think that in a lot of Aronofsky's work, now I've seen most of his stuff, but I haven't seen all of it. I always find stuff that I really like and stuff that I don't like at all. Like, for example, in Black Swan, I really liked the whole opening. I liked the build-up. Where he really lost me in Black Swan was when he started putting in these jump scares of, like, was it Winona Ryder's character just, like, dead or whatever, like in the corner or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's just sort of like jump scare, becomes like this weird horror movie. I like the visual, the Black Swan and stuff like that, but there was this like tonal shift in the movie that I just was not on board of, or I wasn't on board for that tonal shift. I liked Pi. I saw Pi a while back. I remember liking it, not necessarily loving it, but I liked it. And I really hated Noah. Yeah, I really didn't like Noah. I've been told I need to watch The Wrestler. So I'll get to The Wrestler soon enough. But I like Mickey Rourke a lot. So yeah. I mean, I guess it's just sort of like, it's iffy. Darren Aronofsky. Oh yeah, he did Requiem for a Dream. Again, that's a film. I really liked aspects of it and I didn't like others. I think the problem with Requiem for a Dream for me was that people really hyped it up. It's kind of like Fight Club, you know, where people tell you it's the movie that's going to like change your life, and then you watch it and then it doesn't, and like you can't help but be disappointed. And it's not really the movie's fault. It's this sort of culture, you know, surrounding the movie. I think other movies that could happen to as well are like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and just stuff like that. But yeah. Anyways, talking about movies and talking about disappointments, I'm going to start reading these Letterboxd reviews. Let me just let me pop in one here. Just go into OBS. And I'm just going to bring it up here in just 1 second. All right, so do we want to read the... Actually, I'm going to start this off with The Tree of Life, because as a lot of you probably know, The Tree of Life is like my all-time favorite movie. And look at this. 76 likes. 76 likes on this. You know, a lot of people love to hate on The Tree of Life, but those people are plebs. All right, so without further ado, I'll read this out for all of you. And then maybe we should give this rating a rating. Why do we cherish films like The Tree of Life? Films that seem to trace itself around the living experiences of white Americans. The coming-of-age experience and the philosophical ideas that come with them are variable, oftentimes far from universal, and yet films, through time and time again, attempt to encapsulate that we all go through the same experience. Terrence Malick demonstrated this pompous notion in connecting the birth and growth of the universe with an experience that doesn't actually exceed beyond the confines of the white American home. Not only that, but the manner he explores such concepts are done so with relentless cinematographical fluidity that not only falsely mimics the sense of grace in his narrative, but absurdly presumes that such an approach could be considered beautiful. Malick deprives so much of the performances from his cast, leaving much of the impact and power from Pitt, Chastain, and Penn and the cutting room floor. When knowingly there is so much from their characters to convey in this grand narrative of birth, life, and death. I am sick of seeing values and attributes on screen being chiefly praised for when so much of it is actually exaggerated. This is an example of pure aestheticism, plain and simple. And one can see in the tracing of this filmmaker's filmography that the ideas of depth in his storytelling is only a false amplification of something actually empty and hollow. We are all fools for heralding this film and its existence and its acclaim, and is holding the medium back from giving us a true representation of our realities as a species. All right, where do I begin with this? Tree of Life, best film, is the best film ever made. Yes, it is. So where do I begin with this? I'm just looking at this. For one, I'm moving the wrong image here. For one, the whole the whole sort of obsession with race by this person seems weird. I think that the film would have worked just as well if the family was black or Latino or Asian. I don't think that the race of the characters had any factor in the film. So the fact that this person really sort of goes after the race in the second sentence, I think is telling that this person may not be watching movies how they're meant to be watched. But this is a way of having a lot of words. They don't really say anything. So it seems like he's mad, or she. I'll say they. It seems like they're mad that they don't like whatever values are being expressed. They didn't like the acting, I guess. But then they say that they thought that the acting was good, and they're like, it's on the cutting room floor. But how do they know that it's on? How do they know that the best part of the performances were on the cutting room floor? Was this person in the editing room? Did they go to the cutting room floor and like pick up the film and they saw it and they're like, you know what, Terry, maybe they call him Terry because they're just really chummy with him, you know? They're like, Terry should not have cut that. That was Pitt's best performance. And yeah, at least this person got that there is that sort of duality between the birth, life, and death of the universe, and and the birth and life of Sean Penn's character. This is an example of pure aestheticism, plain and simple. But so this person is pointing to basically this person is saying that they don't like the themes, they don't like the messages, they don't like the values that this movie espouses, and then they go on to say that this is an example of pure aestheticism, which is a contradiction of what they had said earlier. So what is it? Is it just a lot of pretty images, or is it putting forth ideas that you don't like? I mean, you can't really have them both. So it seems like this person is changing their mind about the movie throughout the film. And it says, plain and simple, and one can see in tracing of this filmmaker's filmography that the idea of depth in a story simplification of something actually empty and hollow. This sounds like a whole lot of nothing. So you're saying that, okay, he has an idea of depth. I don't like his ideas. I don't like what he's saying. What he's saying is empty and hollow, but I mean, I'm going to have to just disagree, and I'm going to have to disagree. It seems like it did affect you in such a way that you would go and leave a 5-star review. But we are all fools for heralding this film. So at once it did affect you in a good way, and you don't like it anymore. And its existence and its acclaim is holding the medium back from giving us a true representation of our realities as a species. The Tree of Life is holding the medium back. Yeah. The Tree of Life is influencing movie studios everywhere to only make nature documentaries. That's what it's doing. I mean, holding the medium back. I've like this is the only time I think I've ever heard somebody talk about Terrence Malick really affecting the medium in any sort of way. And for people who are just joining in, we're talking about the Tree of Life. Yeah. So, someone says, I don't know why people say Letterboxd is better than IMDb. Many god-awful reviews from people talking from their asses gave me a headache. Most. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You know, Letterboxd and IMDb are very similar. It's all powered by users. So with Letterboxd and IMDb, you just get different people. IMDb is more just your average person, I guess. It's like people go on IMDb to leave their reviews, and it's gonna be a pretty good slice. I'd say that the people on IMDb are more mainstream than not. But Letterboxd has its own sort of clique of people that use it actively. I really hardly ever use Letterboxd. I'll go in there to log films. I log maybe like half of the films I watch, maybe less. I just sort of go like, oh, I guess I'll log this film. Or sometimes I feel like writing a little review, so I go into Letterboxd. But I don't really spend that much time on it. But I have noticed that Letterboxd attracts its sort of like 16 to 30-year-old college-educated liberal arts degree, liberal social justice loving kind of people. I mean, I'm friends with some of them, but not really my clique, I guess. Nothing against them, but not really my clique. And and so you get your own biases there. A lot of these people just love A24. I like OS, but I'm not like some worshiper of A24 or something like that. No, I haven't seen Tenet. I haven't seen Tenet yet. Let me take this off, and I'm going to add on another. Let's look at another one. Why don't we? Let's get them coming. I have a lot in a folder, so let me just bring up something else. Alrighty. Gosh, what's a good one? Blue Velvet. Wait, dang it. So this person says, do you mean to tell me his dad had to have a stroke for him to find the ear in the field near his house so he could bud into so much of none of his business? Why was the ear in the field? That's a good question. Why was the ear in the field? Chat, why was the ear in the field in Blue Velvet? I want to know. Why was that ear in that field? Why was he just walking in the field and there was an ear just infested with ants, right? I mean, it's not like somebody could have brought someone to that field and cut off their ear. I found weirder things in fields. I mean, I've had a lot of, I guess just like really weird stuff happen. In fact, where I'm right now, a few days ago, some homeless guy just walked in front of the office right here, just carrying like a big grill on his back. I mean, the guy was homeless and the grill was kind of halfway broken down. So, things happen, I guess. But I don't know. When people ask these kinds of stupid questions, like this is an example of the kind of Letterboxd review where they're trying to be clever. They're trying to be funny. It's like these wannabe comedians, but come on, if you want to be a comedian, don't do your comedy shtick on Letterboxd because it's just cringe. Um, it's like, oh, I'm gonna have this movie. I'm gonna say this really witty thing about it, and honestly, no one cares. Okay, so let's do another David Lynch, Eraserhead. Lynch be like, I'm gay, and I have to come out in the most elaborate way possible. This is another thing that I don't like about modern internet criticism. Is there's like this? I notice this. I notice this when people talk about movies, when people talk about a lot of these kinds of things all the time. Is people want people sort of think that things are gay when or people are gay when they're not. You know, it's like Kino show JU got called out. Yeah, it was JU that was walking with the grill. No, but people like there's all these sort of like gay readings of directors or films or something like that. And I guess this person has a gay reading of Eraserhead, but I don't get the gay reading of like. It seems a lot. So David Lynch. So there was an interview with David Lynch after he released Mulholland Drive, and somebody asked him why he thought Mulholland Drive was. I forget the exact question, but somebody was like, "How would you respond to the claims that Mulholland Drive is a misogynistic or is a sexist movie?" And David Lynch just said, "Well, I think that says more about you than it does about me." And honestly, I think that that's pretty accurate. I think that this says, like this review says more about this guy than it does about David Lynch. Because David Lynch obviously isn't gay. No, the movie is about him having a child and not wanting it. And it, as surrealist as Eraserhead is, the imagery is also pretty obvious. It's not a hard film to read, which I think makes Eraserhead like a good sort of intro for David Lynch. It makes it a good intro for David Lynch because it is that kind of, it does have that horror aesthetic. It is that sort of like lo-fi 16 millimeter black and white, gritty, industrial, weird people, you know, that kind of music going on. That it's a very Lynchian thing. But at the same time, the imagery is pretty easy to read. It's pretty easy to follow. So I think that it serves as a very good introduction to Lynch. And if that's not your introduction, Blue Velvet is also a great introduction. Personally, Blue Velvet's my favorite David Lynch film. Lost Highway is misogynistic. Yeah. Thanks for 10 out of 10 Lynch impression. These sound like Carson Runquist Letterboxd. Yeah. You know, I'm not really in the whole film YouTube community. I don't think I ever will be either. Yeah. Oh, hey there. Hey there, Wolfgang. Hey, people here in the chat, Wolfgang made a video about the Passion of Joan of Arc. That's good. So go check it out. That's Wolfgang. He's been a subscriber of mine since basically the very beginning. He's a real homie. Anne Frankenberry says, "What was the deal with the little girl in the red coat in Schindler's List?" I mean, come on. Yeah, I always bring that up when people are like, "Oh, Schindler's List is the best movie ever made." I'm like, the little girl in the red coat was cringe. It was cringe. I mean, it's like, she died. Whoa! I see red and she's running, and then later it's on the pile of bodies. But it's like, you're already seeing all these people dying. You're already seeing all this like horrible stuff happening. The whole girl in the red coat was it was like so over the top. I mean, it just came across as really melodramatic. It came across as really Hollywood and not very earnest. Um, Lynch took up Buñuel's mantle. Uh, yeah, yeah, I would say so. In the sense that too, it's like, when people say surrealism, like, I guess true surrealism is just kind of throwing everything that's subconscious at, like on screen. I mean, I guess like En Chien Andalou, but Lynch doesn't do that. He Dennis Hopper called it American surrealism. And so Buñuel did this and Lynch does this, where he does take a structure, he does take a story, and he infuses the surrealism into that. It's not just like, oh, it's all chaos. It's a structured sort of surrealism that he does. Yeah, let me bring up another one. Now we're gonna move away from Lynch for a second and gonna do something a little bit different. Let's see what we got here. I got a lot saved in my folder. Okay. All right. Mad Max Fury Road. All right, let's see what they have to say about Mad Max Fury Road. Okay. I wanted this to be good and be a cool action story about strong women. With Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy leading the cast, it sounded totally possible. But no. Because actually, this was just another product of that ruiner of movies, the male gaze. Constant and overt fetishizing of women. Endless, deliberately pervy shots. It was abhorrent. Y'all. I hate it when white women say y'all. Couldn't we just have a film that doesn't exploit women every 30 seconds? Isn't that too much to ask? The Estonian here is just listening.
You notice the fact all these half-star reviews that I'm kind of
Hey, I can't really hear you that well. You gotta turn it up. But anyways, did you hear Hanukkah comment on Schindler's List? No. Tell me what Hanukkah said about Schindler's List, because that guy's pretty based. Yeah, I don't know how anyone could think that Mad Max Fury Road was fetishizing women. I guess with the whole like princess thing, but I thought it was. I think that anybody who watched it and has had half a brain wouldn't think that was the case. It's odd. The male gaze. Here's the thing about people who really rag on about the male gaze. Is that, yeah, the male gaze exists, but so does the female gaze. Like, where are the men who are complaining that, Chris Hemsworth was basically just super objectified in Ghostbusters 2016. Well, you don't see any man really complaining about that because that movie just sucked, and so no one's like, that's the least of that movie's problems. But but the whole idea of the male gaze like ruining films, like, oh, I don't like how this was shot. I don't like that this woman was shot to look good. I don't like that. It was Abby Lee, right? Who was the princess? The wasn't she the pregnant one, or she was like the blonde one in Mad Max Fury Road? Actually, I have a story about her. So I have a story about Abby Lee, that actress. I was an featured extra, in a movie, a really bad movie. It's not Kino. It gets a 3 out of 10. This movie gets about a 3 out of 10 score from me, called Office Christmas Party. And you'll see me in the film several times. I'm actually in the trailer too. So if you look up the trailer, you will find the Kino corner. But there was a scene that was cut where I had to dance with Abby Lee, the girl from Mad Max. So she comes to me, and I'm like one of the IT guys in this thing. So I'm supposed to be like one of the nerdy guys, and she's supposed to be doing this sort of like sexy dancing with me, right? Like dirty dancing stuff. And so hey, I'm gonna mute you for now.
No. Okay.
And so so she comes up to me and we're talking. She's really cool. She's kind of weird, but cool. And so I I was just like, I want to be able to match your dancing. So what she would do something and I was like basically trying to mimic her, and we were just dancing to be super, super stupid. But what happened is she did this thing where she like dips down to the floor, right? And so just as we were doing, I just did the exact same thing, and I dipped down to the floor and I felt something. And what had happened was my pants had ripped, and it was like a 7-inch hole in the back of my pants. Hundreds of people around me. I mean, this was a big day on set, and it was a little embarrassing. The costume people had to come to me and stitch up the hole in my butt, like on set in front of all these people. And then the director came and he told me that I was dancing too well, and that I needed to act a lot more like nerdy or a lot more shy. So then in the next take, after my pants had been fixed, I just acted really awkward, and it sort of I think it really affected Abby, because afterwards she was like, "Are you okay?" She goes, I think I didn't mean to offend you. I was like, no, I was just, the director told me I was dancing too well, and I said, and I also didn't want to rip my pants again. But yeah, that's my Mad Max story. I guess I might have some more Mad Max stories. I'm working on a video about Mad Max right now. But anyways, let me bring up another one. Let's just keep these going. This is a fun stream. I'm having fun. Okay, how about Pulp Fiction? Pulp Fiction, that's a classic, right? Okay. Oh yeah, this is by Brad Pitt, right? So, Brad Pitt's one of those like notorious Letterboxd trolls, but like Letterboxd comedians, which are just cringe. Twitter, Wolfgang says Twitter ruined the word y'all. Yeah, it did. I'm from the South, you know? Like, we said y'all growing up all the time. Like, look, El Rey, you know, working in Austin, Texas. I mean, I'm not in Austin now, but this would be a perfect masterpiece if Tarantino didn't mess up his own movie by putting himself in as a character who says the N-word a lot for no reason. But that scene was funny. It's funny that this person docks it half a point for Tarantino saying the N-word. I'm pretty sure Samuel L. Jackson was cool with it. So I don't see why anyone should have much of a problem. It's still a good movie. I don't think it's a 5-star movie. I think that it's a really good movie, but I don't think it's a 5-star movie. I think it's 4-star, 4.5. I might agree with the stars here, but yeah, this is more of a prime example of these reviews that are very prevalent on Letterboxd, where it's like, yeah, hey, people in my Discord, so Luke McCullough says, look at reviews for John Carpenter's A Thing and sort by mostly negative. People in my Discord, can you do that and then link it or send me the pictures in send me the pictures in Discord, and I'll put them up here a little bit later. Yeah, so this is just So here's actually my theory, is that Letterboxd is a sort of extension of film Twitter. The people who are on film Twitter, or film Twitter, I don't even know that much about film Twitter, but the thing is, I see it a lot, right? I don't interact with film people on Twitter that often. I normally just sort of do my own thing. But it is an extension of film Twitter, and it feels kind of like Twit longer for film Twitter. That's what Letterboxd really feels like to me. And they want to make these like viral. It's still this like, I want to make the viral tweet, but in this case, I want to make that viral film review, and I'm going to make it viral by just having it be a snarky one-liner, like this. And this is pretty much what Brad Pitt does. You don't really get much in terms of an in-depth analysis. You don't get much in terms of what they actually even think about the movie. It's just looking for that virality. And if you want to talk about people really wanting to go viral, I've got my video on Spree, which is about something like that. And so I'm gonna bring up another one here. Hopefully not another Brad Pitt one. I'm gonna look for. They're too small when I actually get them on the file, so I don't know who wrote it. Okay. This is a long one, so let me take a sip first. It's gonna be for Taxi Driver. All right, Taxi Driver. One of my favorites. Am I stupid or something? Why am I hating all these films I'm so excited to watch because everyone praises them so highly? Should I be holding 70s films to different standards? There must be someone who hated this, and I don't know what I'm missing. There's nothing in this movie that I found redeemable. It's all filler. Conversations and scenes occur or drag on for no reason. For apparently endorsing the murder of pedophiles, this film sure has a lot of unnecessary angles and scenes that sexualize Iris's body, and a lot of dialogue that places the blame on her. And she doesn't show up for more than 5 minutes in the whole film, so I have to suffer through meaningless scenes while feeling nothing for a sudden integration 1.5 hours in. There's no message or themes, it's horribly unrealistic, awfully acted, and the cinematography is less than mediocre. It's boring and has no reason to exist, and there's tons of offensive shit in there for no reason. The plot is so vague and ill-defined, and so is the protag beyond him being a loner. It's racist and misogynistic in the stereotypes and tropes it uses. I'd rather die than watch this again, and I'm pissed that this gets... And I think I accidentally cut off the end. But you get the point. It's funny that they think it's all filler, right? They think it's all filler, that it's all nothing. And then we get to the truth. It's racist and misogynistic. How? I they throw around these words and don't bring up anything. How is it racist? How is it misogynistic? It's, I'm not going to get into the whole analysis of Taxi Driver, right here and right now. But I don't understand how it's racist or how it's misogynistic. I really just don't understand it. I don't think this person understood the film at all. I think this person watched it in bad faith, and you see that a lot, And putting the blame on her, well, yeah, but she wanted to be where she was, Jodie Foster's character. But the reason why she wanted to be where she was is that she had trauma. It just makes sense, doesn't it? It just, the characters make sense, and it's horribly unrealistic, awfully acted. I don't think that anybody, I think this is the only person who would say that Taxi Driver is awfully acted. Taxi Driver is, for acting, is a landmark. Robert De Niro is amazing in it. But so is Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster really does a really good job with what she does. And Harvey Keitel is the pimp as well. You know, like it's great. You know what, I think that the film is slower paced, and it's a lot more subtle, and people just, I think we just go back to the beginning to, am I stupid or something? And that's really the only question we should be answering, and the answer is yes. And then we don't even have to worry about the rest of this. You are stupid. That's it. So, moving on. Moving on. Wow, that was a doozy. Yeah, let's look for some more. The Thing. I'm doing a video on The Thing, by the way. So watch out. Look out for that. Let's go to Parasite. Everyone loves Parasite. Not this person. Worst movie ever. I don't want to read while I'm trying to relax. This is not good entertainment. I'm trying to do my comic book guy from The Simpsons. Worst movie ever. This reminds me of that that guy on YouTube that spurged out that Parasite won Best Picture because it was a foreign movie, and he was like, and he was trying to say that Joker should have won Best Picture, and that Parasite should have won Best Foreign Film, and that a film that wins Best Foreign Film should not be eligible to win Best Picture, which doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And he just was super pissed off that Parasite won Best Picture, and it just kind of reminds me of that. And that guy hadn't even seen Parasite. Like, if I'm remembering this correctly, that guy hadn't even seen Parasite. And I always love it when people, at these awards get so upset when one film wins and another doesn't. But they haven't even seen either films. They're still treating these movies like football teams. It's just like, I'm on Team Joker, I'm on Team this, I'm on Team that. And for me, it's just a really weird way to approach any kind of art. It's just like, I want this to win. I'm putting all my, it's like treating them like football teams. You're not treating them like movies. And honestly, the whole idea of the Oscars is just so dumb. The Best Picture. I mean, you have these movies that are nothing alike. Maybe if you were doing a sort of like by genre, like it would make sense. But how could you really compare a movie like Joker to a movie like 1917? How could you compare 1917 to Ford versus Ferrari? I mean, there are ways that you can compare them, I guess, but really, it's like it's anti-art. Honestly, it hurts. It hurts everything, because that's how we get this whole like Oscar bait type of film. These prestige pictures, I think, are becoming more and more tired, and people aren't really liking them as much as they used to. Or maybe they're just not being made as well. Maybe it's a mix. But yeah. Some of you have known some of my criticisms of Parasite. I like Parasite. But, it's not a perfect film. But neither was Joker. So, let me bring up another one. I mean, Parasite and Joker, I'd say, were the two closest in that lineup as far as like social themes and stuff like that. But still, they're made very differently. I mean, you could almost say their genres were different. Joker is more of a drama. Parasite is a thriller. Like, Parasite was without a doubt a thriller. Lost in Translation. Let's see about this. Okay. So the first one. I like the way there's no sex scene in this movie, considering the age gap between the two characters. I know JU doesn't. JU, our resident Scarlett Johansson fanboy and simp. So they gave him four stars for no sex scene. I mean, they couldn't have done this. Scarlett Johansson was 17. It just wasn't gonna. Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. And also, yeah, they had a semi-romantic relationship, I guess, but I don't think it ever really implied that they had sex. Okay, so this other person gives it 1.5 stars. I may have just watched Midsummer yesterday. This is how you know that this person is... I may have just watched Midsummer yesterday, but true horror is the age gap between Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray. Oh, you're visiting Japan for a week and you're upset about not understanding the people around you? Maybe learn some phrases. Go cry about it. Also, since saying xenophobic things wasn't enough, they cheated on their spouses too. If it wasn't for how fascinating Tokyo and its people are, I probably wouldn't have finished this movie. I had little interest in the characters, but I did enjoy their adventures around this lovely city. P.S. Bill Murray was 53. Scarjo was 19. 1-9. Who approved this casting? First, I want to point out, completely legal. 19. First is 19. That's fine. That is fine. You're crying about this. Go cry about Leonardo DiCaprio, right? I think he doesn't have his women older than 24 or something. Oh, you're visiting Japan for a week and you're upset about not understanding the people around you. Maybe go learn some phrases, cry about it. It's like this person just doesn't even understand anything about what this movie is trying to say. And maybe this is why this person really likes Midsummer. Because Midsummer really throws everything in your face. Like, it is one of those films, it's like, you can't escape absolutely everything that's being said. It's very on the surface. That's why, just at the beginning, it was a red flag, right? Like, so this person likes Tokyo, that's cool. They're cheating, they're saying xenophobic things. I don't really remember. I don't remember them saying xenophobic things. Maybe they did. They cheated on their spouses too. Again, nothing happened between the two main characters, so I don't know what this person is talking about. I think that it was I think that the age gap was a significant factor in the story of the film as well. Like, I think that it's like Bill Murray has been married for 30 years or something like that, his character. And ScarJo is a newlywed. And so they're at these two differing points in their lives or in their relationships, but they kind of find themselves in the same sort of feeling. They kind of find themselves in the same sort of situation. And it's a way for them to bond, if only just for a couple days. I think that was the whole... I think that's why the age gap was actually necessary for the film. But it's just funny, you have like this one person that gives a 4-star for, oh yeah, there was no sex scene, so it's cool, 4 stars. And this other person's like 1.5. What was with the age gap? Responding to the same thing in polar opposite ways. All right, okay, so Gaspar Noé found one for the thing. Wait, give me a second here, and I will bring this up. A 0.5 star. Let me just take some... I've been talking quite a lot. The Thing. I just ordered the collector's edition of The Thing yesterday. Excited to get it. Image 4. The Thing. Here we go. As per request. This movie is extremely boring. There is no star of this movie. All characters are equally forgettable. Neither horrifying nor thrilling. I do not understand the hype surrounding this movie. It is gray and bleak, aesthetically very unappealing. Too much yelling, too many men. Maddie. Well, you know what, Maddie? The Thing was made for the boys, and the boys will like The Thing. We don't care if women don't like it. It wasn't made for you. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's like, yeah, obviously The Thing is a masculine movie. It's about guys in Antarctica. I mean, not every movie is made for women. Not every movie is made for men. I don't get when people complain. This movie's made for men. It's like, yeah, lots of movies are made for men. Lots of movies are made for women. Downton Abbey's not made for men. You know, The Crown, it's not made for men. I don't see guys getting together and like having beers and watching The Crown. You know, like that's not really a valid complaint. I mean, some things appeal to both sexes pretty evenly, but a lot of things don't. So yeah, I always hate that complaint. People, okay, I'll respond to some chat right now because I have been sort of slacking on that front. Yeah, The Thing is for the boys. How's it going? Hey, it's going well. Hi says Brad Pitt is a dumb bitch. LOL. I would agree. Brianna W says maybe they thought the character being racist meant the film itself was racist. That's a common mistake I see in reviews. Yeah, that's a really dumb take though. Like, if you think that a character saying something means that the film is saying that thing, that's on you. Unless the character is like supposed to be the voice of reason. But I would think that in a movie made by, like, I think that Lost in Translation, I don't think the movie was meant to be xenophobic. Yeah, TJ says, I repeat, people who go in with preconceived notions should not be taken seriously critically. Yeah, I mean, like, you always want to have an open mind. If you're going into a film expecting it to be a certain way, expecting to get a very specific thing out of it, then you're going to get that. You're going to get that thing. You're invited to art as whatever, Patreon being stupid. Yeah, so I'll bring up some more Letterboxd reviews. Got a dislike already, guys. Somebody is watching. The dislikes, they only help me. I always get, whenever I upload, right? Like if I premiere something or if I like have a live stream, I'll get like 1 or 2 dislikes before I even like go live. So I've been trying to sort of just see how fast I can get that dislike. All right, let's do 28 Days Later. Let's keep in the theme of some horror stuff. Okay. Now I like 28 Days Later. I think it's a good film. But I didn't like seeing Cillian Murphy's Dangus. I could do without that, personally. The makers of this should really be ashamed of... Well, sorry, excuse me. I shouldn't be drinking carbonated water. The makers of this should really be ashamed of themselves for using SD digital video for a major film production. It's an absolute embarrassment, and it looks more dated than Nosferatu. Nosferatu doesn't look like Nosferatu still looks good. I don't. Okay, whatever. Moving on. The garbage aesthetic bleeds over and makes the performances feel similarly amateurish, and the uncouth use of music that I actually like only worsens the issue of the feeling like a film made by teenagers. The style, while compelling, is half-baked and is degraded by some shoddy edits and an over-reliance on extreme angles. The deeper and deeper I dig into Danny Boyle's filmography, the more I go from respecting him as a filmmaker to, well, not. So, again, again, I'm just going to point out just an inconsistency here. Just a small inconsistency. The style is compelling, yet they should be ashamed of the style. The style is compelling, yet they should be ashamed of it. Yeah, so, I mean, Brad Pitt disliked the video. Yes. Hopefully. Or maybe Karsten Rundquist. I'm gonna make... Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't mean to like, dunk on other, like, YouTubers or whatever. I don't want to get into drama. But it's like... I've seen some of his videos, and it's just... I don't know. Not a fan. Not like hating him, but also just not a fan. Let me see. It makes it feel like it's made by teenagers. So they think that shooting on, making like a found footage type film makes it feel like teenagers. I honestly wonder what this person thinks of films like The Blair Witch Project, because The Blair Witch Project had a much lower budget than this. Just the production design of 28 Days Later is pretty astounding, really. Like, the fact that they got London to shut down for some of those shots. I mean, there's just some amazing shots. I mean, yeah, it is standard definition, and it is standard definition, and but the effects are still good. And actually, the SD, this sort of fuzzy quality, does cover up some of the more what might look like more dated effects by today's standards. And the garbage aesthetic bleeds over and makes performances feel similarly amateurish. I've never heard somebody call Cillian Murphy's performance in any movie amateurish. So, yeah. So this is. Oh, hey, Yuhan. Yeah, you're Gasper, know it, but I muted you. Yeah, I don't get it, like this is I don't know if this is the worst that we've read so far, but it's definitely pretty bad. I'm going to find another one. Who is Cricket 73? What are you talking about? Karsten is TikTok and Kino Corner is Homer's The Odyssey. I should put that as my YouTube banner. Karsten Rundquist is TikTok, and Kino Corner's Homer's The Odyssey. TJ says, I don't understand people who put race and gender politics into films made 20 plus years ago. Like what? Times have changed and art is representative of the time it was made. Gasp. Yeah, it's exactly. Like, exactly the point. Things that just weren't offensive 20 years ago might be seen as offensive now. And whether or not those things actually are offensive, I mean, who knows? Like, how are people going to see us in 50 years? We don't know. Are you excited for David Fincher's new movie, Mank? I heard it was going to be in black and white. I haven't heard of it. Joker reviews on Letterboxd are the impossible mode of all bad takes. Yeah, like, of course, the famous Joker review is like, of course, a swimming pool look deep if you've never been in the ocean. Imagine if you're laughing at all the cringe Letterboxd reviews and then yours comes up. Yeah, actually, that's no, Yuhan, you stay muted. Joseph says, hey Kino, after I watch I'm Thinking of Ending Things, I'm gonna watch Drive starring Ryan Gosling because I've never seen it before. That is a great movie. I love Drive. I've seen it so many times. Sad ape noises. Yeah, Mr. Monkey Man. Estonian monkey. Planet of the Apes. Estonia. Let me bring up another one. So I just have a whole lot. I mean, it's just it's Friday night, Labor Day weekend. I'm here to chill, guys. All right, let's do Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Right. I forget how bad this is. Okay. All right, so spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, don't look and just put your fingers in your ears and just go like la 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 for a while, okay? manipulating your audience into a false sense of security is fine when it's like a horror movie or some shit, but when you do it in the sense that you're lying about a main character surviving throughout the entire movie only to kill them off at the end and purposefully hurt those watching, dude, that's not meaningful or beautiful or the fuck it was meant to be. It's purposely fucking with your audience's heads for shock value, and it's gross. I don't know how I didn't see that coming, but it pissed me off immensely. It was one of the most manipulative things I've ever seen in a film. Ever. He says one time, he's like, oh, yeah, she doesn't die at the end. And then she dies at the end. And it makes sense. And it makes sense in the context of the movie. He's not trying to manipulate the audience. He's trying to... he's going over, you know, he's in the stages of grief. He's at that point, you know, he's sort of in that denial stage, even when he says that in the film. So it makes sense from a character perspective. It's not manipulating, but the fact that this person really hates this film because the character dies at the end. They tell you that this character is going to die at the end, and then he's like, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't die. Yeah, like once or twice. But I mean, it's called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. We all know she's going to die, and to have this bad of a reaction to a, you know, girl with cancer in a film dying, I just think is funny. Let me look at chat again. Imagine them watching Marley and Me or The Fault in Our Stars. Yeah, and see, that's funny. So that's why, that's like one thing I do like about Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, is that it's kind of a parody of The Fault in Our Stars. It's like making fun of a lot of the tropes that you see in these sorts of teen weepies, you know, like Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, these sorts of like, well, I mean, the teen cancer stuff. My Sister's Keeper, I think, was another one. It's making fun of a lot of these tropes, and it's very sort of meta with how it approaches its story and how it approaches its characters. And but then it becomes actually much more, I think, much more meaningful than any of those films ever really could be, because of that, and because it doesn't, the film itself doesn't really take itself that seriously. And it was shot by Chung Hoon Chung, who is a great Korean cinematographer who shot Old Boy. Cinematography in both those movies is outstanding. So yeah, if you haven't seen Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, I would definitely recommend that. I think it's a really good sort of take on the tropes, the sort of cliches of a lot of these sort of teen dramas that were popular around the time that the movie released. It won both top awards at Sundance, but kind of like flopped at the box office, unfortunately. So yeah, that was unfortunate. And I haven't really seen anything else the director has done. Antonio Gomez Rejon. I haven't. He made The Current War, but it didn't look that interesting to me, so I didn't watch it. All right, In the Mood for Love. All right, this is a short one. This movie invented the color red. Pay up, Taylor Swift. This is by Lucy. Just like Brad Pitt. It's one of those. Get this off my fucking screen. Let's move on. Let's move on, guys. That one, the cringe was so bad I couldn't even react. The Straight Story. David Lynch. Okay, let's see what this person says. I know that we're basically just like bullying people. YouTube, don't you know, ban me. Don't do me dirty like you did Leafy. Here, I really did want to like this. It's a feel-good film about an old man on a tractor. That's where you're first wrong. He's not on a tractor. He's on a lawnmower. But whatever. I'll give this to you. And yet, not even a moment of this film felt profound. To quote David Lynch again, I think that says more about you than it does about me. It's 2 hours long. Okay. I hate to be the grammar Nazi, but I think we all can see. It's 2 hours long, and the only plot is an old man drives a tractor. Okay, this is the second mistake. The second time you made this mistake. Across state lines to see his brother. That's it. The pacing is so unbelievably slow. Absolutely jam-packed with slow pans of trees, fields, tractor parts, fire, stick-built pole barns, and other mundane parts of the Midwest. The conversations and the people he meets on the way are disappointing. Okay, alright, Sliz. Let me tell you this here, City Slicker. You ain't no tractor from a lawnmower. I mean, you know, maybe you could call it a tractor, but it's a John Deere lawnmower. It's a green John Deere lawnmower. It's not a tractor. But this person obviously doesn't know. I mean, the fact that is it Cianaro. I'm guessing it's a woman. The fact that she doesn't think that any of these conversations are profound. We must have been watching different films. I thought this film was incredibly profound, and I like the slow pace of it. Here's something that I think, right, is that when a movie is slow paced, people who aren't really wait, I'm getting texted. Oh, what the heck? BG Cumby's texting me right now. Sorry. He's just texting me about rock music. I think that a lot of times when movies like this, or like maybe like a Tarkovsky movie or something like that, are slow, people like this who won't find these films to be profound don't find it profound because they're not paying attention. I think that's honestly really what it comes down to. Is that it's slow, it's too slow for them. So they don't pay attention. They go on their phone, and these conversations happen while they're just not really paying much attention. And of course, they're not going to find it. They're going to find it disappointing because they're not really watching it. You know, that's why when I watch a movie, I try to shut off everything. You know, shut off my computer, shut off my phone. I'll sometimes check my phone just to see what time it is in case I have something I have to do. But I really try to. Let's read bad reviews for The Shining. All right, let's get. So for Come and See, I'm not going to put this up, but I'm just going to read this. If anyone's in my Discord, just start posting stuff in the Discord. I'll just read it. I can't believe they killed cows IRL for this movie. Nothing can excuse this act of violence towards superior beings. Hashtag cow rights, this is not okay. Hashtag pro-vegan, hashtag vegan, hashtag pro-plant. I'm not sure if this is a joke or not. I'm guessing it is. That has to be a joke. But yeah, they did kill cows for Come and See, but they also killed cows for the burger that you buy at Whataburger as well. So I guess they're about equally evil. I'm going to put one up here. I'm actually getting close to, I think I'm getting close to what I had saved in my little library. Oh yeah, let's do Badlands. Got Badlands here. Yeah, let me see after this. I got 1, 2, 3 after this. Yeah, so I got about 3 after this. Okay. Something must have told him that we never lived these days of happiness again, that they were gone forever. I'm not going to drink that. It's just going to make me... I'm going to drink this. I'm trying to figure out what I'm missing, considering the mostly positive reviews this has, but I just wasn't into it. The premise was very interesting to me, a couple going on a killing spree together. But the overall structure of the film and the way the story was told in a mellow pace with a calm narration felt anticlimactic and ruined whatever bit of excitement the plot had. It started off nicely, with a strong setup to the story, but went downhill after that. It was nice to look at, though. So, purely based on its visuals, I can see why it is held to a higher standard, which speaks to Terrence Malick's wonderful work. It just would have been It would have been nice if it matched up on the other fronts as well. I did enjoy seeing young Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek together. They complement each other and fit the roles perfectly. Actually, this wasn't that bad of a review. I don't know why I had this in here. I think I just put this here as, yeah, I don't know why this was here. Honestly, I can see, I guess this take isn't. Kim Jong-un watches Kino. Kim Jong-un's one of the homies. Kim Jong-un is one of the guys. He's one of the OGs. Like, no joke. This person has what I would definitely refer to as kind of like the Hollywood take. They want that excitement. They're not really interested in much else. They're like, it's kind of the people who's like, oh, it's a picture with these guys. It's a Martin Sheen picture where he's going on a killing spree. Yes, going to be lots of action and excitement. And they think that they're getting some other movie when Terrence Malick's really just not interested in that at all. And you can't blame Terrence Malick for doing what he wants to do. I mean, he made a movie that I thought was just fantastic. But you also can't blame this person for not really getting on board. So yeah, I'm fair. I consider myself very fair. Let me pop on another one. Yeah, hey, Juhan. Juhan. Put some in the Discord for Barry Lyndon. Look up some Kubrick stuff, and I'll bring them up here. I'm putting up another one here. It's another Taxi Driver one. Oh, this was the end of the other one. Okay, pissed off because I hadn't seen one of. Oh yeah. Okay, so this person wasn't interested in watching any more Scorsese movies after Taxi Driver. I guess fair enough. You're not based in Kino pilled. I'm not going to be able to change it. Oh, and by the way, this background image that I have here is from the book I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Just put that there. Wishing it was cold outside because it's like unbearably hot here right now. All right, I think I have one more, and then I'll be like needing to use like user submissions. Okay. Again, this is more cringy than Lucy or Brad Pitt, right? Because at least those people, they did kind of go viral, but this person is trying to do that. Only 3.5 stars because there are no actual lobsters. This person's trying to be a Brad Pitt. This person's trying to be Lucy. And it's like, why try to be cringe? You're only going to be more cringe than the cringe that you're trying to be. And they only have one like. Yeah. It's like, this is a wannabe Lucy. And I think that's just sad. I think that's just sad. I don't know why anyone would want to be Lucy. I'm going to check the Discord really fast. Let's see if there's any more. If there's no more, is here. Gasper, no, I will unmute you. There you go. Hey, if anyone is in... Okay, so I'm going to respond to some chat right now. If anyone's in the Discord... If anyone's in the Discord, hop into general chat. I'll move you up into KinoCast main. All right. Let's read bad... Okay. When are you going to watch Mulan, Kino? I'm not.
People are boycotting.
I'm not gonna watch Mulan. Um, uh, yeah, I'm not interested in it at all. Yeah, it just looked really boring. You know, it looked like a movie made by commission. And that also, it's like, why do I want to support Disney working with like the Chinese Communist Party? I don't. Like, I really don't. China owns so much of like the movie studios and stuff, and influences the films that we watch to where there's like propaganda for their government in our films, and I'm not for it at all. Like, I'm totally against it, in fact, and I'm not going to support films that are openly propagandistic towards China. And I'd say that like most films that are propagandistic nowadays are so towards China, and really just China. Yeah. Kim Jong-un says Mulan is 10 out of 10. Watch it and support the CCP. You know, the CCP is the only reason why North Korea like exists. So of course you're gonna support it.
Look at the Discord.
I can hardly hear you, man. Okay. All right, I'm gonna mute you again. I'm gonna read. Okay. Yeah. No. No offense to you. Your mic is just like really bad. All right. So I'm gonna read this review. I'm not gonna put it on the screen, but I'm gonna read it out. So everyone, get your listening ears ready. Thanks to Yuhan for this. So this person's account is called I Love Lucy, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it's based on the television show and that it's not I Love the Letterboxd account Lucy. But here we go. I might lose the benefit of the doubt by the end of this. I would like to say before I pass my judgment, okay, so they gave Barry Lyndon a half star. I mean, how could you even do that in the beginning? In the first place, but whatever. I pass my judgment on this film that cinema is a storytelling medium. Lynch fans and cinematographers seem to forget this all too often. It is the job of a filmmaker to tell a story, not just to present the audience with a pretty picture or clever spectacle. With that being said, I have two major issues with the film Barry Lyndon, and neither of them are with the cinematography. I have always said that Stanley Kubrick is the best cinematographer in history. This person is already coming across as low IQ, but whatever. Barry Lyndon is a character of such mediocrity that to watch him is to watch the very essence of potential be wasted on directionless meandering. The lack of intensity results in an inability to sustain the audience's attention for a very long time at all. Lyndon is a person who goes around manipulating people, and we are all supposed to sympathize with him when this results in misery. No, I think not. I found myself wishing him dead near the end of the film, which is not a pleasant experience. I don't like to wish other people harm, and I resent Kubrick for forcing it on me by presenting me with a lad of great promise, then slowly turning him into a monster before my eyes. Had Kubrick chosen a character of the time more worthy of depiction, the film might have been worth the 3 whole hours it took to view it. The film itself is little more than a series together by a central character. None of these vignettes are very poignant, and only briefly brush against the profundity amongst those who feel nostalgia for nationalism lost. As I find myself in love with the whole earth, not just the part where I spent the first few years of my life, I simply could not relate, and I find anyone who can to be silly and childish. Okay. So there's a lot to unpack with that one. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with this one. Oh yeah, and Wolfgang's about to hop off. See you, man. Hey everyone. Everyone, Wolfgang, he's here in the chat. He's got a cool little YouTube channel he started up. go check him out. He is a friend of mine, so yeah, definitely go support the other kinographers, support Kino Boys. And so, first of all, I'm going to say this: this person claims that cinema is a storytelling medium. That itself is so like cinematically like uneducated. This person is so uneducated in cinema that they don't even realize that they're praising Barry Lyndon by giving it a half star. And what I mean by that is that they go on to say cinema is a storytelling medium, and it's really a storytelling medium alone, when it's not. You can have film that doesn't have a story that's perfectly great. I mean, like, look at a film like Samsara, right? Or like Baraka. They don't have stories, but I mean, they do in a certain sense, but not in the sense that this person would consider a story. I think that film actually is more of an emotional medium. I think that color, like, you know, when Bresson sort of like took apart like what actually makes a film and what makes a film different than other mediums, you know, it's movement and it's editing, and that's really all what you have to make a film. Is movement, is light and darkness, illusion of movement and editing. And so with editing comes rhythm. That film is about rhythm. It's not about story. It's not about plot. It's about creating rhythm. It's about making emotion. Now, probably the way that we normally kind of create this emotion in people is by telling stories, is by having characters. And, you know, and like, you can have a visual story, but as I said, like with Baraka, but this person probably wouldn't consider Baraka to have any kind of story. So, it's just funny that this person comes in telling Kubrick what his job is. I mean, it's a very arrogant sort of way to open up a review by telling Stanley Kubrick, who is one of the greatest film directors in cinematic history, what his job is. I mean, of course, he's been dead for 20 years, but it's like, what have you done? You've done nothing. So what's the whole, like, it's funny that, you know, when people on the internet, they just think that they know better than everyone else, and when they don't, you know, maybe it's Dunning-Kruger. And then this person goes on to basically complain about Barry Lyndon not being a stand-up character. He shows a lot of promise as a young kid, and as a young man, and then he devolves. He sort of becomes consumed by wanting to have that title. And it affected this person a lot. And the fact is that he is this person. I don't know, you know, this person, man or woman or whatever. Not that I really don't care. I mean, this is a review. We're not judging the person, we're judging the review. But this person is greatly affected by this, and so hates the film. But the thing is that the film greatly affected this person, and obviously affected this person enough to where they wrote a fairly lengthy Letterboxd review about it, and it said that it made them feel things that they didn't like. But if a piece of art really makes you feel something, I mean, then that piece of art is working. And so it's ironic that this person comes in here telling Kubrick how to do their job, when if Kubrick, you know, if there was even any way for Kubrick to take this person's advice, he would have created something that this person would have felt nothing for. And then this whole thing about nationalism really just doesn't make any sense. It really makes zero sense. And Barry Lyndon's kind of all over the place. Yeah, he has a love for Irish people or whatever, but, you know, that, like, ending this on some kind of slight at nationalism, it's cringe. All right. Yeah, cool. He says, when will North Korea produce Kino? There was that documentary called Big Bang and Pyongyang, about Dennis Rodman going to North Korea. I like that documentary a lot. It's a cool one. So I guess North Korea has produced Kino. Read Tarkovsky reviews. Yeah, you know what? Since I'm not going to bring these up, let me just go on to Letterboxd right now. Let me look up like a... Okay, let me look up Stalker. Everyone knows Stalker. Stalker. Now let me sort by half star. I'm going to have to... Actually, not a lot of half star ratings. It's one of the highest reviewed films on Letterboxd. That's kind of cool. It amounts to 0%. So I guess that's pretty based. But let me see. 5 star, 5 star, 4 star, 5 star. I'm trying to... give me those super low reviews, dude. Sort by... Wait. Watched, like, rated, reviewed. Alright, sorry guys. I'm not going to do Stalker. Let me do something that's going to be a little bit more... Let's do Nostalgia, alright? Nostalgia. This isn't going to be as loved. 4.2. It's still pretty loved. That person didn't quite like it, but it's a good review, actually. I mean, sometimes, like, people can have really good reasons for not liking a particular film. You got an account? Yeah, I have an account. Let me see. Let me link my account here in the chat. I hardly ever go to this, so I just want you guys to know that I'm not really that active. I still have to add, I'm thinking of ending things. I'm not really that active because, like, I could be writing my reviews. Like, on Letterboxd, but then it would sort of take away from my YouTube. Sort of take away from my YouTube. And I don't really want to do that. I was thinking about, like, when TikTok gets sold to an American company, I was thinking of getting a TikTok to do, like, movie reviews. Could do with you on there, brother. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Like, sometimes I really feel like writing about a film. And if you notice, like, the films I write about are kind of scattered. I'd say that probably my most in-depth review on here is for that Bergman film, like A Ship to India. I liked my review of that. I had a lot of fun writing that. And just how I've been thinking is, like, I could write reviews of movies that I necessarily wouldn't cover on my channel. Because being a YouTube channel, you know, I have to sort of cover movies that people are going to be searching for. I have to cover movies that people are going to be interested in seeing. I wish that I could just make, like, videos on Bergman and Fellini and Angelopoulos and Bellatar and all these guys. You know, like Satan Tango is on Criterion Channel right now. I'm a big fan of that film. I wish I could just do movies on those kinds of films, but the fact is that just nobody would watch it. And it's not that I care. It's not that I'm like, oh, I got to do something that's going to get the most views, because I wouldn't have started this channel if I really cared that much about, like, going viral or getting that many views or anything like that. Like, that's not really why I do this. But I do want to get enough views to really just justify the time that I spend creating these videos. So I try to cover not normie, but I try to cover like a more well-known film, and then sneak like references to films that I think that people should watch. You know, maybe some more obscure type films. Like with my witches, even though my witches video didn't do that great, because maybe I sort of jump the gun a little bit on that. They're gonna come out with a trailer for a remake of The Witches this year, and I thought the trailer was gonna come out in August, so I put the video out in July to try to like have my video there, like, you know what I mean, like the trailer releases and then people are searching up The Witches and then, you know, somehow kind of get into the algorithm, but they still haven't released a trailer, and so now I'm like, when are they releasing this trailer for the movie? But with The Witches, you know, I put in there, I'm like, well, there's all these other great movies if you are a fan, or The Man Who Fell to Earth, you know, these kinds of things. What is your honest opinion on Joker? I couldn't tell if your video on Joker was serious or not. Yeah. Well, my honest opinion on Joker is I very much liked it. Did I think it was like a 10 out of 10? No, not really. I thought it was a pretty solid like 8 out of 10 though. I really loved Joaquin Phoenix's performance. I thought he did a really great job as Joker. I loved the cinematography of the film, you know, that I talked about in the video. A lot of that video, when I'm actually talking about Joker, a lot of that video was there are moments, yeah, where I was joking, and there's a lot of that video that is like is satire, as a joke. There's a lot of that video that's also not a joke. I love the cinematography of it, the score of it. I thought it was great. I think that what really kind of brought it down, though, was, I think that what brought it down, sorry, excuse me, I've just been talking so much, my throat's dry. I'm not used to talking this much. I'm kind of an introvert. I thought what really brought it down was the Bruce Wayne, Thomas Wayne, and Alfred sort of being in there. I really think it could have done without any of the Waynes, or I wanted it to be in Gotham without any kind of reference to Batman. I think that it would have been better if the whole Batman stuff wasn't in there. That's really what I think. And I think that did bring it down not significantly, but it did sort of take me out, and then I realized, I'm watching a comic book movie. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Joker, but I still really liked it. I still really enjoyed the film. Yeah, I'm going to start wrapping things up here. So if more of a standalone film. Yeah, I wish that it did act as more of a standalone film, and I'm going to say something that maybe this is a very nihilistic way of me to sort of see things, but Kim Jong-un, I saw you. That was funny. Maybe this is more of a nihilistic way to see things, but I was thinking that maybe, like, the first time I watched, I thought maybe they were going to subvert sort of the whole Batman being in it. And so then when you see, you know, how they redo the whole alleyway thing, right, at the end, where Bruce Wayne's parents are killed. And I was kind of hoping that Bruce Wayne would be killed as well, not because, I wanted that to happen or something like that, but I thought in that moment, since they were already subverting this sort of like how this all came to be, maybe they were going to set this up as like being in a Gotham where Batman never existed. And I thought that if it was going to go forward in some sort of way, like if Joker's going to go forward in some sort of way, which it probably will because that's how all these comic book movies work, maybe he's going to exist in a Gotham without Batman, where Joker is like the driving force of things. And I thought that could be really cool. That could be a really cool sort of a take on Gotham. Read some Yuva Bowl reviews. Oh man. Okay, yeah, you know what? I should. I don't know how I like completely didn't read this. There's that I Hate Everything video about Yuva Bowl reviews. Was Yuva Bowl kicked off of Letterboxd? I had heard Eugene had said that he was. No, not. Eva Bull's profile. Let me go. I'm going to his profile right now. Was he? Okay. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Wait, is this no? This isn't actually Eva Bull. Yeah, no, they kicked him off of Letterboxd. Yeah, Gotham Without a Savior. I think that if they wanted to go like a dark route, because Joker doesn't take place in the same timeline as far as I remember as like the other Batman movies. I think that it would have been a cool sort of have like an alternate history of Gotham. Okay, I'm gonna go to Google Images because he got kicked off. I'm pretty sure. He got kicked off of. He got kicked off of Letterboxd deplatformed Eva Bull. Everyone's talking about Leafy getting deplatformed, and no one's talking about Eva Bull. Eva Bull. I mean, people have to have backed up all this Letterboxd reviews. People share photos of his reviews all the time. Oh, here's a review of his own movie. 5 stars for Rampage, Capital Punishment. The director. He is sexy. Let me count the ways. He has a chiseled physique. He is really smart, and he is really cool. He is easy to talk to. He loves his fans, and he loves a pussy. He puts lots of action explosions in his movies, and unlike, say, Michael Flaccus, Penis Bay, he makes movies with a message and political spectrum. Okay. Wait, Rambo. Rambo First Blood Part 2. The movie that turned boys into men's. The Hungover Games. I guess this is a parody of the... I guess it's like an epic movie. And his review is, I liked the breasts. I guess... I guess, maybe, you know, fair enough. Wait. Jack and Jill. Why does this have to be in such bad resolution? It says, I was eating dinner at Al Pacino's and we watched this for dessert. He was a drunk, but the movie was very funny. Pass the Hennessy. Finally someone thinks that Jack and Jill is very funny. He deserved it, actually. You know what? I'm not going to say that Eva Bull deserved it. He was talking a lot of trash. Like, no one is going to say that he wasn't talking trash. No one's going to say he wasn't talking trash, but he was talking a lot of, like, but it was like a pastime. It was like people were looking forward to what Eva Bull had to say. You know, it was exciting. It was exciting to see. It was exciting to see what his new crazy, absolutely insane review is going to be. The Brown Bunny. Here's a good one. The most boring movie ever made. Vincent Gallo gets his blank sucked by Chloe 70 and shoots his load off. But I like looking at tits. And maybe not at dudes. All right. I mean, that is true. That is true. Yeah. Alita Battle Angel. Her eyes ruin the movie. The real actress also much chunkier. CGI overload turns it into a lame cartoon for children and mongoloids. Edit. Chunky. I don't like them big. I don't like them chunky. I don't like them big. I don't like them plumpy. He like writes an actual song. He writes an actual song about how The lead actress of Alita Battle Angel is chunky. Wait, here's the full one. I don't like him round with something, something, something. They like my films. They think Yuva Bull funky, funky. My name is Yuva Bull. Yeah, say it. Say it, girl. Yuva Bull. Say it again. Yuva Bull. um, yeah, that was good. That was really good. You know what? I think that's a good one to end this stream on. So, thanks everyone for coming out and joining as we read bad Letterboxd reviews. I'm going to try to stream like Friday nights just to kind of chill out with you guys and talk about movies. I usually watch 1 or 2 movies during the week, so we can talk about that on the streams. And, and if you guys watch anything, during the week, or, I love hearing what you guys have to say in the chat. If anyone has any questions or just comments or something you wanted to shoot, like before we go, I'll stay on for about 2 more minutes. But yeah, I mean, otherwise that is the end of the stream. And I really want to thank everyone here. I put my Letterboxd thing up there for people to go follow me. Not that I'm that active on it. Yeah. Anyways, good night and good night and good luck, as George Clooney would say. Or is it good luck and good night? It's good luck and good night. Yeah. Sorry, it's late. Wait. Wait. TJ, last thing. TJ says, I hope I didn't miss out on shitting on Eva Bull. He's the real life Bob's and Vagine guy. Yeah, he is. And you know what? Eva Bull, if you're watching this, I don't want to box you. I don't. I've got better things to do. Yep. Anyways, guys, I'm going to say this right. It's good luck and good night.